meeting Alicia, one of my students' mom from Spain, and we will be talking about their English language journey, their family reading habits, and why they joined my adventure reading program. Hello, Alicia. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
So, can you tell me when did Pedro start learning English? Was it long time
Uh,
ago? Now he is 10, right?
yes, now he's 10, and I think, well, I think he's learning English since he was born, because I usually listen to English radio at home. Um, every song he has listened since he was only a little baby was in English, because I like languages in general, and the only one that I have a few, well, a few knowledge about is English.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, since he was just a little baby, he's listening to English at home. Even I try to speak to him in English.
Yeah, that's
So he was
great.
familiarized.
I think this is the way, yeah, to immerse a child into English environment and with the ways that you can, you know, and listening to songs is great. And what is important in choosing a teacher for your son or a language school? He studied at the language schools, right?
Yes, when he was, I think, about 3 years old, I decided to enroll him in a place where he could play with other children.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important thing when you have to choose one teacher or academy or whatever is that the children feel the language as something natural, not
Mm-hmm.
like pure theory.
Yeah.
So through songs, through videos of what they like about nature, or cartoons, everything in English. For them, for children, it's very important to play with other children. And it is great when they have to play in English, because they are from other countries, or because they are at an English academy and they have to speak in English all the time.
Yeah, yes, I also agree that these natural ways of introducing a foreign language are great. And do you think that an English language teacher should be a native speaker? What do you think? Because now we can hear everywhere that only native speakers are the best.
Well, I think it is important because of the pronunciation mainly.
Yeah.
And at least in Spain, well, for me it's important, but not so being a native speaker, but I think the most important thing is that the teacher is from a different country, because they have to communicate in English and never in Spanish, in his own language. So it is important, but up to a point, not entirely necessary.
Yeah, so it's not an obligation to have only a teacher, a native speaker, but of course it's important to listen to the native speakers' pronunciation and to try to travel to these countries, yeah, to English-speaking countries.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree
of
with
course. I think it's very important to do that, as far as you, it's because you can see videos all the time or listening to the radio, but when you are obliged to understand someone who is speaking to you, then your attention is, I think, is more.
Yeah, of course.
It's more.
And you can see their culture and you are more interested yet to speak this
Totally.
language. Do you often, do you try to travel? Do you often travel?
Before COVID, yes. Pedro, I think he traveled for the first time to Ireland when he was only 2 years old. And
Oh,
even he he turned 3 there in
Yes.
Ireland.
Yeah.
So since then, he has been traveling to Ireland. He was very familiarized with the country, and both my children, Pedro and his brother, they were happier than me because they understood much more than me, even for the first year. So they feel very comfortable in Ireland but it is the only country in English where they can hear English that I have traveled. It is a shame, but
why did you choose Ireland?
Ireland because it's near from Spain in the first place.
Okay.
And the other thing is because I have never been there as a child, and I don't know why, but I love this country. Since I was a child, I used to draw pictures of the Irish countryside without knowing why.
And Pedro mentioned maybe not once that he loves Ireland because it is so green. He always says that.
In fact, I could see in my Zoom that my children has put a picture of Ireland, but I didn't know that. They have done it.
So this is a discovery today. Yeah.
Yes, today, yes. I don't know how to do that.
All right, and tell me more about reading habits in your family. Do you read often, a lot? Did you read when your sons were little? Do you read in English?
Yes. Well, in my family, we have lots of books, and my husband and me, we read a lot. From 3 years ago, I started to reading more or less 3 years ago. I started to read in English very often, and of course with my children the same. I bought them books from very early age, from 3 years old. I try to read to them in English as well. Yes, even though I know that I'm not a native speaker, but I prefer that they recognize the words, even though I don't have a good pronunciation, but I prefer that more than nothing.
Of course, it is much better than nothing, and they learn vocabulary, they learn like sentence structures, they learn a lot, and they can always, I think, like improve their pronunciation later when they will be talking to native speakers. But in order to talk to them, they should know something, and you gave this to them already because they Pedro already speaks English. And would you like Pedro to read more, or?
Yes, of course. Pedro doesn't like to read too much, not in English, even in Spanish. He doesn't like to read. He is very different from his eldest brother. I don't know why, because we are the same parents for them.
Yes.
But the thing is that Alvaro is my eldest child, and he reads a lot in English or in Spanish. He's capable of reading in English almost everything. And Pedro is, I think it's been a little bit harder for him, but it's not for the language. I think it's for the habit.
For the habit.
However, as you know, we are trying, and that's one of the reasons why your method is so appealing for us. I think it's very, very important for Pedro what you are doing with them, with the children, with your stories, because you have one chapter every week, and you have a nice story, a wonderful story where they not only learn a story, they are learning about different places, they are learning about animals, different cultures. I think, at least for Pedro, it is very appealing.
Yeah, I have never noticed that he would be bored or not interested during the lesson. He is always
No,
engaged. Yeah,
enjoying. Yeah,
enjoying.
that is very important because it's Pedro is not easy for him to be alert of the all the time. So I think it's very good.
So I was surprised when you told me before that he doesn't read like a lot, because my program is the reading program, and I saw that he
Yes,
was
yes.
enjoying.
That's why he needs your reading program.
Because yeah, it inspires him to read. And what did he tell you what he likes the most about the stories or about my lessons?
Well, he doesn't tell me anything usually because he doesn't speak too much about his classes in general.
Yeah.
But I think he loves the characters.
Yeah.
I think because what he has told me, he loves even the stories. He likes to discover new places, and perhaps it could be very engaging to the children to talk about some specific animal, because as you know, all children love animals.
Yes,
And perhaps this is
appealing to
interesting for them to know that you are talking about a place that actually they can see in a map. And
Yes.
he loves to know where is the place that you are talking about in your story. For instance, Schönbrunn Palace. He hasn't traveled to Austria, but we did. Me and my husband were there because we are musicians. We traveled to Austria when we got married. So I talked about Schönbrunn Palace very, very happy to him, telling all the stories there about our travel there. And he has loved to learn a little bit about Schönbrunn because he's in Vienna and we traveled there so long ago.
So this story provoked you to talk more about your memories, right? Like
Yes.
to have more conversations.
Yes.
And was Pedro surprised when he got a real book, like paper book in the box in the parcel when I sent it to
him? This is wonderful for him. After having worked with you with every episode, after having read with you the story, finally it's like a
prize
gift, like a great present for him to receive not only the book but also cards. And I think it was amazing to receive one written handwritten postcard from you. It was incredible. You are so kind. It is not so common nowadays for children receive a handwritten letter.
Handwritten,
Everything is
handwritten
letter. Everything is technology and computers, but this is something more
unique. Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah.
And what? But initially, what made you sign up for the program when you just learned about when you visited my trial class, and how did you decide to start studying?
Because for me, books are so important. So both things together, books and English, I think is a wonderful way to learn.
Yeah, books, English, and also traveling. Yeah, you love traveling, and
of course, and more than ever now that we are very limited because of COVID.
Yes, yeah, unfortunately. Hopefully it will get better and we could
Yes, I
travel
hope
again.
so. I hope so too. We hope so.
And do you think the books are the right level for Pedro?
I think so, yes, because otherwise he could feel bad.
Yeah, he would feel